hang up my stocking at Christmas, open my presents and I'd be glad. But the last time I played Father Christmas, I stood outside a department store. A gang of kids came over and mugged me and knocked my reindeer to the floor. They said, Father Christmas, give us some money. Don't mess around with those silly toys. We'll beat you up if you don't hand it over. We want your bread, so don't make us annoyed. Give all the toys to the little rich boys.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Update. As I clear the phlegm out of my throat. Hey, welcome to the Daily Update as I clear the phlegm out of my throat. Hey, it's, what is today? Today is December 2nd, Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. Hey, just a reminder, I've said hey like 5 times already in this video, but I'm not going to redo it. Just a reminder, if you're not yet in the trading room, get in there. We just got a bunch of new subscribers. And if you're not availing yourself of the trading room, you're not getting the full value out of your Lund Loop subscription. And if you're not a paid subscriber, what's going on? What's your major malfunction? All right. So normally I would start. By the way, I love this song. This is one of the best parts of this season is that I can pull out some songs that I really can't play during the rest of the year. Like I can't play Father Christmas by the Kinks in June. I just can't do it. And it's such a great song and it's such a fun song to play the drums to. I love playing the drums to this. The Kinks were Oasis before Oasis was Oasis. The Davies brothers, the original fighting brothers. Forget the Gallagher brothers. These Davies brothers, whew, they have some stories. All right. Thanks for that non sequitur, Brian. Normally what I would do at this part of the program is I would talk about the intraday action if there was any significance to it. And there's none today. We're doing what the kids call barcoding. Look at that, just going up and down. Oh, wait a minute. You can't see the screen. Hello? There's a word, there's a phrase in Vietnamese. I find there's certain phrases in different languages that there's no translation in English. They just have a feel, right? Like in Yiddish, a schnurr, right? That means just a kind of a putz. Schadenfreude, right? That's a German one when you take joy in someone else's downfall. And in Vietnamese, it's joy. It's like you just say Like I didn't put the charts on the screen. Joy. All right. Lund Loop language lessons. Okay, so there's nothing going on here in the intraday action. We're just barcoding. So let's do this. I want to take the opportunity. Let's get the Kinks out of there. Let's go. So I want to talk a little bit about decision making and being right when it comes to entering trades. Yesterday, I added snow to the daily setups. Now, these are the stocks I think have the best potential to move the most in the next 1 to 3 days or 1 to 3 weeks. And the reason it's those two things is they have the most potential to move in the next 1 to 3 days when they're on the the setups list. And then if they do move, they have an opportunity to move for the next 1 to 3 weeks on the active setups list. So anyway, I put this on the daily setups. I got to get my terminology straight. Daily setups, active stocks. Okay, so this went on the daily setups list yesterday. When you see this as a subscriber, it starts a decision tree. So I send this out like 30 minutes after the close. And so you can look at this and you can say, I want to buy this now. You buy it in the after hours. Because I think the market's in a good spot. I think this thing could move and it might just gap up in the morning and I'll miss out. Now, you're going to make that decision based upon a lot of factors. Is the market in a trending mode? Did we just have a big run for 5 days in a row and we're still pulling back? Did we sell off for a while? That's going to factor into your overall decision. Are we going to risk on or risk off? But you still have to make the decision. Am I going to buy this or am I going to see if there's a way I can get into it tomorrow morning? All right, so let's say you said, no, I'm not going to buy this. I'm going to wait and see what happens tomorrow morning. Okay, you missed out. It gapped up. It went closed the day up 3%. I think it was up maybe 4%, 5% intraday. It happens. Yeah, you miss it. You didn't want to take the overnight risk. That's not the wrong answer, what you did, because there is no right answer. There are just answers. So you can't take the outcome and then curve fit it and say whether the decision was right or wrong. The decision you make here in real time has to be right for your circumstances at that moment with the information you have. So you say, I'm not going to buy this after hours. It gapped up. I missed out. Okay. Let's say you did buy it. Let's say you bought it after hours yesterday and it gapped up at the open. Then you have, boy, I just have a frog in my throat here. Then you have some decisions to make. Let's just take a look at this decision tree during the day. The first thing I want to do is I want to look at this chart and I want to see where are some spots that would make sense for resistance if you're in this. Okay, so I mean, I guess you could call this little wick here, but that's so close. I don't really consider that a resistance level. This is a pretty decent resistance level, right? The opening bar on this gap. Where's another decent resistance level? Maybe the top of this bar right here. How about here? You're trying to find levels where things line up. How about like right there? I mean, it kind of lines up between the opening of these two. So maybe you want to split the difference. Right? Put it like right there, like in that area. Where else is the area that makes sense? I mean, that's kind of it. I guess we could do one like this. Now, which of these resistance levels are right? Which one is the right one that I marked? I don't know. They're not right or wrong. They are just levels. They are levels to watch, right? No right answer. All right, let's flip over onto the daily and see how this unfolded. Make sure they're all on here. That one's here. Yeah. All right, so let's do this in real time. I love doing it in real time here. Continue. All right, so this is how snow opens the day. Remember, you bought it overnight, it gaps up, and it runs hard, and then it gets smacked back down. Did you sell it up here? Did you sell it after this bar finishes? Because, it closed back below, which resistance? Let's see. Yeah, below this resistance level. You go, oh shoot, I'm gonna sell it. Do you hold and say, well, let's just see if it can hold the opening bar low? Is that what you do? Okay. Next bar, almost breaks the low, but doesn't. Starts firming up. You're like, okay, great, cool. We're going in the right direction. All right. Now we've moved up again, but we got knocked back from resistance. Which resistance level? This one here. All right. So what do? Do you sell it there? Or do you say, it's still a long way from the 8. I'm going to give it some time to see if it firms up. And it kind of firms up a little bit there. And you go, okay, cool. Uh-oh. Did you sell it there? Did you sell it because it broke below this? You could say it broke below this level. You could say it broke this little rising trend. The point is, there's lots of decisions you have to make. And you have to make them based upon what your objectives are, what your criteria is, what your methodology is. And there's no right or wrong, right? Nobody can look at this chart before all this happened and say, I have a system or I have studies or technical things that would have nailed this exactly. It just doesn't exist, doesn't happen. You just find the best answer for what you're going for. How about this? How about when it gaps up like this? Are you thinking of maybe swinging it? Going from a day trade to swing trade? Maybe here you are, but are you still doing it now? It's starting to break down a little bit? Okay, maybe. That's not looking so bad. Maybe if it breaks this trend line here, right? It's just pulling back. It's holding this area. Let's move it forward here. Uh-oh. Now what do you do then? Because you went, I'm day trading this. Maybe I'll swing trade it. But now, are you day trading or are you swing trading it? The point I'm trying to make here is we always have a lot of decisions to make when we're trading, right? This was started as what? What did you start it as? Did you start it as a day trade? Was that what you thought? Were you going to see if the technicals would support a swing trade. All these things have to happen in real time. All you can do is look back on it and say, did I make the best set of decisions I could given what I knew at the time? There is no right answer. And if anyone says there's a right answer to these things, they're just lying. All right. So, all right, let's take a look at another stock. Let's take a look at Roku. Roku was also on the daily setups list yesterday on this 2-bar pattern here. Again, you have the choice. Do you buy it overnight or do you wait to see if it sets up intraday? Let's say you bought it overnight, or let's say you didn't buy it overnight and you say, I want to see if it sets up. Not much here, right? There's not much here. It's very choppy. There's not really any spot to get involved. Maybe here when it kind of baselines along the previous close, right, and then takes off. That's not a bad spot. But you might have gotten chopped up here. There's no real reason to get involved in any of these places. There's no base. There's nothing that makes sense here, right? So if you're patient and you saw this spot, maybe you're able to make some money off of it. How about this one? How about Tesla? Tesla, again, on the daily setups right here. Let's say you say, I'm not going to buy it overnight. I don't want the overnight risk. I just want to see if I can find a spot. Again, not really anything in here that you can get involved in. But look at this. Look what happens. You get this double bottom right here. And where does that double bottom occur? It occurs right at the bottom of this range that I've drawn. I drew it here back when we had this gap. So you have a gap resistance and support level. And that's and this is on the daily. And this is exactly where it stops and puts in a double bottom intraday. So what do you do? If you're super aggressive, you buy right here on the bounce. Okay? If you're maybe not as aggressive, maybe you buy this, the break up here. And maybe you buy this. Maybe you buy this little pullback. By the way, little pullback right below the low of the day. You could even have bought it here when it got a little firmer. The point is, everybody finds their own style. And as long as your style works out for you, that's okay. But the idea that there is some exactly right way that you could have played any of these stocks today is it's just farcical. That's not how it works. We're just putting the odds in our favor in the most amount of time. So over, a 20-year career and you're going to do 10,000 trades, if you're putting the odds in your favor most of the time, if you're managing risk most of the time, you're going to be consistently profitable over that time. So, all right, let's get to, hope that helped. If that helped, let me know. If it didn't, if you're like, Brian, you're just babbling on, let me know as well. All right, let's go through the